Hello everyone, welcome back to Its Current Year for another Ent Ladder battle replay. And oh no, you guys, the great plan has gone awry, and having returned from the realm of chaos, Oxyotl is being hunted by Croc-Gar. So we've got the last defenders versus the ghosts of Paho, and I don't know, maybe Mazdamundi has sensed that Oxyotl here is thinking some bad thoughts after coming back from the land of chaos. So yeah, this was played on the Ent Ladder. I'm up against Malverde, who is a very active and well-known member of the Total War community. So yeah, Lizardman Mirror. Wasn't sure what to expect here, but Malverde's gone with good old trusty Chameleon Skinks in the front line. He has not in the front line, but in a bit of a vanguard, a front line of skink cohorts with javelins, backed up by some regular cohorts. So a very wide infantry line here, a real big skink list here. And in the back, some red-crested skinks, as well as the cohort of Sotek. There is a ballista stegodon up the back here, making use of this little hill. So obviously a good sniping tool, but then obviously a very decent combat monster in its own right. He also has taken the Skink Oracle, which I'm on the record of saying I think is the most broken thing in this DLC. It's just incredible. It's just such a good unit with its bugged missile animations. So he's gone with Flock of Doom and Earthblood, and leading the force. Where is he? Here he is. He's being hunted today by one of his dino brethren, but Oxyotl is the bad guy, let's say this time. So he's taken the Golden Blowpipe as well as the Master Predator. So he's pretty cheap, plays the long game, and just does what he's designed to do. Snipes away at things and clears the infantry line. For my forces, got a couple of Pterodon Riders on this flank. And in the front lines, a couple of Saurus Warriors with clubs, a couple of Saurus Warriors with spears on the outer side, a few cohort skinks as well, same as Malverde, just for a bit of screening and missile pressure, and then the cohort of Sotek. The cohort of Sotek have been cloned. One of them is the evil one, and yeah, they're gonna maybe come to blows. I've also got an Oracle because, like I said, it's absolutely busted at the moment, and I have taken pretty much the same kit, Flock of Doom and Earthblood, making use of the nice bugged AoEs, but I've also had some leftover coins, so I took the Opal Amulet. My lord is Croc-Gar, and seeing the enemy Oracle there, I have decided to pull him back because I don't want him taking any shots. I was kicking myself because I forgot to take Hand of the Gods. Hand of the Gods, I'm willing to bet, could snipe Oxyotl pretty nicely. So I was a bit annoyed that I forgot that. And as you can see here, yeah, massive damage already coming down on my Oracle. We will pop it on play. And the Chameleon Skinks are spotted on both sides. I have to pull my Pterodons back. But yeah, that's one shot. And I believe a nice volley from Oxyotl as well. But one shot from the Oracle, that's how much damage it does to large units. It's just a really oppressive unit at this stage. So likewise, just pulling my Cold One Riders back. I don't want them to take any unnecessarily damage. The Saurus Warriors can tank it on their shields and with their armor, and just generally having a good HP pool. I'm seeing the frontline fighting here is going to be Saurus up against Skinks. I'm pretty confident that I'm going to do quite well. So I'm going to lead in with my Saurus, and then I'm going to have hopefully my jabs to pepper into the red crests and the like that I see around here, and just provide a bit of screening. Croc-Gar is making his way around this flank with some Cold One Riders, and the Oracle is sort of just sitting in the front line here, as well as the Stegodon. The Stegodon's actually also probably been trained on my Oracle, as a Flock of Doom does come down on my cohort of Sotek. They are taking a bit of a beating actually, and I am a bit late on the Refuse to Die pop, so they are going to take some serious damage, but I am hitting home on the front line now, and like I said, even Saurus with spears, they're going to do a pretty good job working down the skink cohorts. And this is another big mistake here. So the Oracle is just lobbing its spitballs up in, and Croc-Gar has taken a little bit of damage, but I do see that the chance to maybe get some of my own back here. The Oracle is putting some shots into Oxyotl, and there will be a Flock of Doom also going down. So quite a few units hit here, and I am going to pop some Earthblood on my Oracle to keep them in the fight, and just because I am aware obviously that this Stegodon is getting him down as well. This flank's going pretty well for me, broken through the cohort front line, and the Saurus aren't really too concerned about the Chameleon Skinks, who are being set on by the Cold One riders, but it's Cohort of Sotek on Cohort of Sotek, and anyone's if I can tell what's going on here, because look at these. You hate to see it. They're just killing each other. The Great Plan is just in tatters at the moment. But yeah, my cohort is obviously pretty beaten up. But with the arrival of some Saurus Warriors, may be able to turn the tide. And seeing the Oracle is the enemy Oracle with a fair bit of ammo left is fleeing here. I charge Krokgar off. I have no idea what this was, and you see that movement arrow there. I noticed this almost immediately, that I do not want to let this come back. So I obviously wasn't paying attention. Obviously saw him running away and saw some freebies here, but yeah, big mistake by me, because guess what? That Oracle is going to hit the edge of the board and is going to rally. And now Krokgar is really caught between a rock and a hard place. I'm trying to juke some shots from Oxyotl, trying to almost also sort of make sure that I try and get this thing off the balance of off the board, so the balance of power doesn't turn. And he manages to evade me with good speed, 75 speed to 78, so he can probably keep a fair amount of distance while everything else shoots him down. But Krokgar here is unfortunately going to meet the Maker, and one of the great heroes of the Lizard Man is going to die. Unfortunately, my lord and this Oracle is still alive with the potential to possibly heal its way back up. Now, my Oracle has used all its ammo, which you can see here has taken a good effect on the Stegodons, and I am getting some nice Flock of Dooms down now, but my Saurus Warriors with shields trying to fan out here as best as possible and just sort of push these guys back into the corner of the map and keep them contained, so I can clean up everything else out here. Malverde has some skink cohorts coming back in, but they're very tattered and aren't going to be really too much of a threat. I do have some Cold Run Riders still here. My other ones, I believe, have gone off the board or have run away. Yeah, they are running, so they may come back, but they've pretty much done their job. Cohorts here, both mine. I need to get them back to the fight, but the Javelin, Javelin Pterodons now are coming in to try and put some pressure on, and I just realized at this point I need to put all my effort into trying to kill this Oracle, because I don't want him to use that ammo. I want him to have to run away. I know Oxyotl is around here somewhere, but because he's so hard to find, it's just he's sort of just dogging me at the moment and just sending his blow darts into me. But unfortunately, once again, I'm unable to finish the job, even with the cold blood there popped on itself. My Oracle will run, and unfortunately, with the not too far to the white line, yeah, my Oracle doesn't come back here. So I'm starting to feel as though things are turning against me. I've lost both my heroes. I really don't have a lot of ammo left on the Pterodons, so I think, what can I pick up here to shift the balance of power as well in my favor as I can? So these, beg your pardon, those were Malverde's skin cohorts chasing my thing off before, but some Saurus Warriors are going to slap them down pretty quickly. But I noticed the Stegodon here is nice and open. I am obviously sitting over the top of Oxyotl with his Master Predator pop, so I do believe he is stalked. Maybe I can see him at the moment, I'm not sure. He doesn't seem to have the stalked sort of tick on his unit card there, but yeah, the Pterodons just trying to use as much of their ammo as they can. I am feeling okay about having a couple of decent pockets of Saurus left. Obviously these ones are pretty tattered, but 70 Saurus with spears here, 58 Saurus Warriors with the club variant here, and look at this, I've still got 9 Cohort of Sotek left, and I think I was actually able to kill all of the opposing cohort back. So we're going through a bit of a sort of scrambling phase here. There is a bit of fighting going on down here. I was trying to jump down with some Pterodons and try and occupy Oxyotl in combat until my own skink cohort could come here and just swamp him. But again, he's going to get away. Very frustrating. It's one of the most frustrating things about playing against him. He's a pretty solid lord, but just the difficulty is keeping him in the fight and not allowing him as an ambulance goes past my house. But yeah, Pterodon Riders dropping down here, and they should be able to maybe harass the Stegodon off the field. I also have my Cohort of Sotek coming in with their Refuse to Die pop, so 9 little angry skinks are going to make that Stegodon a non-factor for the rest of the game, and just trying to sort of reunite my infantry. He still does have a little bit of Malverde's got a little bit of ammo left on these chameleon skinks, so I'm just trying to get my shields up the front, Obviously, everything here for me is shielded, but taking the hits on the Saurus Warriors because they can take it a little bit better than the Skinks, and I do want to keep some sort of critical mass of infantry. I've got 53 Skinks there, 92 here, and then even some Saurus Spears coming back over here. So there's plenty of infantry, plenty of bodies left for me. I am outnumbering him 3-1 at the moment, but I'm just thinking with the Oracle still on the board and potentially with some Earthbloods left, Oxyotl low on ammo but still alive, the loss of my heroes from earlier in the battle is going to be a little pretty telling in the end game. So we'll put on a little bit of a fast play as Malverde kites me out here, which he's obviously in this situation perfectly entitled to do. He has ammo left and he is engaging now with these Chameleon Skinks that are out of ammo. And this is where I think I see the Oracle coming back in. I think, well, this is basically my last stand. Now, the Oracle is no slouch in combat. 415 weapon strength and a Terra Causa isn't bad. It's not a Carnosaur, but it's from range probably you could argue more effective than a Carnosaur. But I see the Oracle wavering and I think, well, this is my chance. I've got my cohort of Sotek out here, once again refusing to die. 7 of them left. He's going to get a Flock of Doom down, which is nasty. It's hitting all my infantry here. And probably pulling out here may have cost him. But with the Oracle breaking, army losses does trigger. And I get a very, very, very lucky Pyrrhic victory. I didn't think with both his characters and just sort of some infantry just to pad it out. I thought this was going to go against me, so I feel like I was a little bit lucky to win this, but a very, very close scrap overall. A very good game. So yeah, as I said, this was part of an Ent ladder best of 3 against Malverde that we had the other day, and this was a real highlight. So thank you very much. I did ask him if I could cast this, and he was happy for it to be cast. So thank you very much for that. But yeah, as we go through the forces, I mean, Oxyotl he's really hard to just track down and kill. He plays the long game. He's not a hard carry lord in the traditional sense. I mean, he does get he will almost always get his value back just because he's so cheap. But as I said, he just plays the long game, uses his ammo. That's as probably close as I've ever seen to him using all his ammo in a game. And just plinks away, can kill single entities, can strip models off unit, and obviously with his multi-projectile shot that does penetrate, he can, even things like iron breakers and stuff like that. Like, he can reliably kill 3 or 4 unit models every time he fires. So thinning out the ranks of enemy infantry and putting damage into single entities is something that he can do, equally well. So I'm not going to hover over the Oracle just yet because I do want to save that till last. But Skinks sort of got outclassed in the front line by my Saurus Warriors. The red crested as well. They got pelted with a lot of javelins, so they probably didn't quite find their value. And I'm actually surprised because they were held back quite nicely till after the fighting had sort of started, and we did see the Malverde or the Oxyotl cohort of Sotek come in a bit late, but we obviously managed to work them down quite nicely. Skink Javs, likewise, okay value, nothing to write home about, but did their job. And then the Chameleon Skinks, actually was surprised at how few they got, just because, again, they got a lot of their ammo off. I got a couple of good Flock of Dooms down that did manage to sort of get quite a number of them. So, yeah, I was actually very surprised to see them only to not make their value back. Stegodon was a cool pick, just sat in the back. Again, used all its ammo. Probably needed to get a little bit more aggressive with the Stegodon. And have it cycle charge in the front line because it can sort of wade through even Saurus Warriors. It could have tipped the balance a little bit more in that favour, but it did put a lot of damage into the Oracle with its ballista shots. Right, so obviously this is what I wanted to say for last, just to sort of prove a point here that I've been harping on for pretty much since this DLC came out. Malverde's Oracle got 2,676 damage. Now, you would have thought that was pretty good, right? Because it was alive till the end. It used all its ammo, got a fair bit of damage into my Oracle in the early game. My Oracle got 3,100 damage, and it spent about half the amount of time on the battlefield. So this is what I mean about this unit. It's so strong, and it has so many different ways of getting value. I mean, neither of these damage values is either taking into account any healing that it's done, any terror outs that it's got. It's just such a beast at the moment. So I really need to fix the double shot projectile. I think even when that is fixed, to be perfectly honest, it's still going to be a strong unit. But yeah, I mean, single entities just disappear in front of it. It's no slouch in combat either. Like, obviously, it's not a Carnosaur, but from range, it's a Carnosaur that kills things at range. So it's just a crazy good unit at the moment, and I'm sticking firm on my original assessment. I think it is actually the most broken thing about this DLC at the moment, making use of AoEs and the double shot bug. But yeah, I really I sort of potatoed a bit with Kroq-Gar. Didn't really get his value. He was pretty cheap, obviously, because I forgot to bring Hand of the Gods. But he's still okay, and this is what the one thing I like about the Oracle. It does open up lords like Kroq-Gar, and we've seen a fair bit more of Nakai even, because you have healing obviously in your hero slot. So that's one thing I've liked the most about the Oracle is it's opened up. You're not just seeing Slans or Mazdamundi as much, and obviously Oxyotl's a pretty popular pick at the moment. But yeah, for my lines, I mean, the Saurus were pretty healthy towards the end of the game. They'll churn through like an infinite number of skinks here, so that gave me a pretty good edge. And then yeah, 800 on the cohort. My cohort doing quite well despite taking a lot of damage in the early game. Skinks used all their ammo, and I think they all had one Chevron going into this game, so they've done their bit. And then the Cold One Riders, sort of not so good. One of them's done alright. Pterodons, though, used their ammo, got a bit of damage into the Stegodon and chased that off, so they were just a pest. Still a strong unit. But yeah, this was actually not... mirror matches aren't always the most fun. There's some in the game that are absolutely cancerous, but this was actually not too bad as far as mirror matches go. So put one in the win column for the last defenders, and Oxyotl will run away, and maybe he'll go back to the Realm of Chaos after today. The Lizardmen weren't too happy to have him back. But thanks again to Malverde for the game. Thanks to you guys for checking it out, and we'll be back soon with more. Take care.